Ladies and gentlemen, we got time for one more question.
Yes, sir.
The situation in Pakistan right now is pretty fragile.
Yeah.
Some people want to just yank any funding we've been giving. What we need to be doing, how we need to do it.
Yeah. Situation in Pakistan. That's an interesting part of the world and a dangerous part of the world, as you know. I had a chance to visit with Musharraf back a few years ago, back when he first came into office. I came away with the impression that for a military guy who'd just taken over the country, he was a pretty modest and reasonable guy who seemed to want to do the right thing. And I've been watching him pretty closely. I don't put too much stock in my own impressions or, what I see in his eyes. I look to see what's in his country's interest. And so far, his country's interest it's been pretty much, I think, what our country's interests are in terms of beating down the Taliban, for example, in Afghanistan. But we have two competing issues there. One is the rule of law. We can't countenance them shutting down the courts and jailing a lot of people the way that he's doing that. That's not right. He's hurting himself in all probability. It's easy to be on the other side of the world and tell a guy what's in his own best interest, but I really do believe that it's in his own best interest not to do that. And apparently maybe he's seeing the same thing because he's just let a lot of people out of jail. On the other hand, they're a nuclear weapon state. They had a fellow over there by the name of A.Q. Khan who went around the world selling nuclear technology to goodness knows who. We don't know the full extent of it yet. We know that one of them was Libya, and we found a Chinese design, nuclear warhead design. When we went in there, Libya backed off, thankfully. We know that the Chinese have helped Pakistan over the years. They are very, very proficient, high-tech, scientifically oriented people there. And they have great, great capability. But they have great capability for destruction, too, if the wrong people get their hands on those weapons. There are people inside that government who are enemies of the United States. There are people inside that government who are friendly to the Taliban. And Musharraf has on his hands now, he has the Taliban coming over there into his country out of Afghanistan. He's tried to go out and subdue them. He's lost a lot of soldiers. If you ever see, I stood in a place called Khyber Pass. You may have heard of it. Some of you may have been there. And you look at that, man, you could lose a freight train in there in about 100 yards. And nobody'd ever find it. I mean, it is rough. It is rough. So he's got that on his hands. They're all through those mountains there. Apparently Osama Bin Laden is still hiding out there. He's having to deal with that and deal with his radicals there, that want to take over the government, while at the same time deal with us and help us to the extent he can. As you can imagine, the average guy on the street in Pakistan is not necessarily in love with the United States of America. I mean, we get blamed for everything that goes wrong in the world, and that place is no different. So we need to understand that we have got a guy that more than most around the world is trying to do the right thing under very, very tough circumstances. So we need to do two things at once. We need to hope that he doesn't fall precipitously and that government fall into the hands of radicals, and that he will move toward open elections so that whoever is running that country has got some credibility, and hopefully through that kind of an open process they will elect either him or somebody else who understands that it makes no sense to be distributing nuclear weapons around the world. It makes no sense to get back into a fight with India, which is another potential disaster, waiting to happen, that we're trying to kind of stay in the middle of. And that freedom and liberty is a pretty good thing. We've had a pretty good track record. With all the troubles in the world, when we started this experiment called the United States of America, there weren't any democracies. Now, depending on how you define your terms, most people in this world are governed by a democratic government, elected government. So slowly, we're kind of moving in the right direction. And a large part of that has been the strength and the stability of the United States of America. Thank you very, very much.